Hello there, content creator. This is Kerwin. Welcome to the channel. I'm glad you stopped by. Today I'm gonna be talking about setting up your travel business because in order for you to monetize your travel business, you need to get it set up properly. Most people don't even start a business or set it up as a business, so they have, that they can't take advantage of all the different activities that are out there if you're set up as a business. So that's what we're going to talk about today. This is my little studio. The wall's a little bare, but over there, to do this thing is these are amenity kits from some of my travels, a small amount. So I haven't figured out what I'll put on the wall and stuff like that, but you'll see the change as we go along. So let's jump right into it. The idea behind these videos is when you finish watching them, I want you to be able to uh, go do this stuff that I tell you because I give you all the instructions to do it, right? We're going to start what I'm going to do is share my screen. So what we're going to do is talk about setting up your travel business. And there's a lot of stuff that's going to be links from Travel Blogger 101, and you can use the Travel Blogger 101 website as a resource as well. So let's dive right into it. So the first thing you need to do is to register your business. Let's move this thing out of the way. Okay. Now, if you're not in the United States, there will be something in your own country that will tell you how to go and register your business. The reason why you need to register your business is because you're going to be monetizing it and you get an income, and you need to pay your government will more than likely require you to pay taxes on the money that you earn. And so you need to be registered as a business, not doing it as a personal thing because it is a business that you're running. Um, in the US, you would apply for what's called an EIN, and that's an employer identification number. And you can do this online. You can also have a company. There are some companies that will do this for you. I think like LegalZoom. You can do them, or another one I'm going to tell you about. You can go straight to these companies and just pay them a fee, and they will just do everything. So you don't have to worry about it. There is no charge for an EIN number, and that's the website that you go to. So I'm going to switch over to the IRS website. And this is a website that you go to. And it's interesting. They're open from 7 a.m. to 10 p.m., but they're an online service. So if you want to do it, you need to go during that time. So you do that URL, and I'm going to put the URLs in the quote unquote show notes for this broadcast. They'll be in the description here, right below in this YouTube channel. And so you need to determine your eligibility. And as it says, you have to be in the United States or US territory. You must have a valid taxpayer identification number, usually a social security number. Um, this is called a taxpayer number. The interesting is says a person applying online must have a valid taxpayer identification number, SSN, ITIN, or EIN, but this is the application form for an EIN, so that's kind of odd. Um, and you can only have one EIN per responsive party per day, at least applying online. So you have all the rules here. You go through the rules. They have a little video if you want to learn more about it. And then you submit your application. You can apply online. And then when you go here, it'll pull up an application form, give you some more details, tells you that the system is for authorized use only. And then you just click on here, begin application, and it'll pull up the application, and you go through and you determine the type of business that you're applying for. And so you have all the different types of business. You have the sole proprietor, partnership, corporations, limited liability corporation, estate, trust, and there's all different kinds. So you select the one that you want. Let's say you select an LLC. and you do continue. Now it is up to you to um, either you talk with an attorney or you speak with an accountant. I'm neither. And this is how you're going to figure out what type of entity you're gonna set up because there are different tax liabilities or tax benefits to set up the different types of companies. And this goes through and tells you you've chosen LLC. Here's what LLC is and what it's not. So it'll be up to you to go through and figure out all this. And it's going to ask you some questions. How many members are in your LLC? If it's just you, you put one. And which state you're in because the rules are slightly different. And see, they have all the if you're in armed forces, there's that too. If you're in the territories, it's all the territories of the United States. And one other good thing about these government websites is that if you don't know what the territory of the United States is, you can come in and see it. Say, I'm working in Samoa, Federal State of Micronesia, Guam, Marshall Islands, Northern Mariana Islands, Palau, Puerto Rico, and Virgin Islands. As a traveler, I've actually been to all of these except American Samoa. So I need to get American Samoa. If you want to do, as a side note, if you want to go to Micronesia, Marshall Islands, Northern Mariana and Palau, what you need to do is to get to Guam. And when you get to Guam, Guam has a five-stopper, it's a four-stopper flight now that will take you to the Federated State of Micronesia. It'll also take you to the Marshall Islands. Then from Guam, you can also go to Northern Mariana Islands. There's a few flights that go over there. Um, and you can also get to Palau from Guam. So this is a good place to go. If you want to go to American Samoa, you have to go to New Zealand or Australia, or you can go to Hawaii and then take Hawaiian Airlines, and that will take you over to American Samoa. So that's just a side note. As a traveler, I've actually been to all these states, so that's good. So that you go through here, you fill it out, and it's going to ask you questions. It asks you to authenticate, then it asks you for addresses, details, and then it finally gives you the confirmation and it gives you the number that you need. I won't go through that because I already have a number, and I've already given you the information of how to step through it. Read everything as you go through and answer truthfully because this is going to be your number of record. That whenever you file your taxes, you're going to have to put that number in. So let's go back to the presentation. So I talked about forming an LLC and making you treat your blog as a business. Now, these are the different types of business that you saw in that form. There's a sole proprietorship, which is a business structure that's easy to form and gives the owner complete control. However, the owner is liable for all debts and has no liability protection. If the owner dies, sells the business, or quits, the business ceases to exist. The next one is a partnership, simple structure for two or more people to own a business. Then yeah, the LLC, which is a business structure allowed by state statute. The LLC allows you more protection. And so people wouldn't sue you as a sole proprietor, they would actually sue your company. And because you're in the travel business, one of the things we'll talk about eventually is that you do need to get business travel insurance. It's very important because you're giving out travel information, and some people are nefarious and they may decide that you've given them information and they don't like it and now they want to sue you. You can also be a corporation, but that's more intricate, and I probably don't recommend that. Just as a um, as a small business. So just do a limited liability corporation is the easiest thing to do. You can also do an S corp. Some of the your attorney or your accountant may tell you to do an S corp because when you do an S corp, you get more tax protection. I didn't do an S corp because I don't really understand it. But you can do an S corp. It has different and um, I guess it gives you different protection or different levels of protection. You can also add shareholders and things like that. Okay, so form an LLC, treat your blog as a business. Now, you can use a company called Biz Filings. And what Biz Filing does is they'll do all this stuff for you. The cost of Biz Filings varies depending on what you do. So I happen to have Biz Filings already loaded up. So you go to bizfilings.com. And the thing with this company is that it's you can set up a Delaware corporation. And there are two states, Delaware and Nevada, that gives you tax breaks if your business is set up in those states. And so you can decide which one you want. If you do, when you go through business filings here, and you tell it what you want. So you say you choose a state. It's just loading. Um, you choose a state you're in, so Texas, say, and then you say you want to do whatever company. We talked about all the different types of companies that's there. You can do a not-for-profit, but I don't think as a travel blog and business you want to do a not-for-profit because it's by definition. So let's say we do LLC and we're in the state of Texas. You click that. When you click here, it gives you all the different states that you can set up the business in. And this one doesn't give you, so if you're in the territories, you don't have the territories in here. You just have the US, yep, it's just the US states. So let's say Texas, and what it does, based on which state you have, it gives you a different pricing, a different package. So you can do what they call the complete thing where they do everything for you. You can just do a simple basic thing and it tells you exactly everything that it does. Now, the cool thing about this company is if you have any questions at all, you can call them up and they will tell you exactly what you need to do. Very, very helpful. And that's the phone number right there, or you can chat with them online. And if you change the state, let's say we change to Tennessee, their fees change and their services change. Tennessee is probably not a good one because it doesn't not much change. But if you go to like California, let's choose California. The fees change quite a bit, and the services and the things that you have to do also changes. If we go to someplace like New York, where are we? New York, New York, New York, New York. I'm in New Jersey, New York. Fees are pretty much the same, but the services that you're getting are different because the laws in New York are quite different. So that's how this service works. This one I highly recommend because I use them and they work really well. What they do is that they send you a note, like twice a year, and you have to pay some fees. It works out to about maybe $600 or $700 a year that you pay, and it's paid at different times. Um, okay, so that's registering the business. Now, your travel blog and business can be a website. It can also just be like these days, a lot of people just use like an Instagram or they have a YouTube channel or they have a Facebook page, but they don't really have a website. Now, one of the things about having a website is that it's yours, it's your property. The only issue you have is if your domain provider, if your hosting provider decides to go bust, then your website goes with it. Um, but this is where you choose a really good provider, and you also can do local backups. So even if your website is gone, you wake up in the morning and the provider isn't there, at least you have a local backup and you can just restore it to another hosting service. But I'm jumping ahead because I haven't told you what a hosting service is yet. But the first thing you really want to do is get a domain name. Now, what's a domain name? It's like travelblogger101.com or whatever the name of your blog is. The beautiful thing about the namecheap.com is you just type whatever you want and it'll search. Now, there are other services out there, but I use namecheap.com and I really enjoy using that service. I've never had any issues with them. Back in the day when computers just started, there used to be there still is an IP address, which is an internet protocol. That's just going really deep for you now if you're not technical. But it's a number that's assigned to your website, and everybody still has that number, but no one's gonna remember 179.28.349.1.1 as your namecheap.com address. So they do what's called the alias, and that's kind of the name of your blog is. So if we go over to let's go over to the website here. And I trustily, I'll put name, we'll come back to Siteground in a sec. And so Namecheap is what you use. You can create an account over here. There's a place to log in and create your account. But let's say you wanted to call your blog something. and let's say travel blog. You do search, and it's going to come back and tell you if it's available. So travelblog.travel is available. Travelblog.ai is available, and it tells you how much it costs. Now, back in the day, it used to be like really cheap. You'd have like 99 cents domain names, and you didn't have like, dot travel or things like that. But you can see now you have .io, .inc, .xyz, and you have all these different ones. But back in the day, you used to do .com and .net. So if your .com was available, you go by .net. Now there's a lot of .ios, there's .ais and things like that. Now what you can do, let's say since my travelblog.com is taken, you could add something like my and see if now mytravelblog.com is not available. They want you to make an offer, which is normally a ton of money. So maybe you try the travel blog, and that travelblog.com is available. It's expensive though, it's like $4,000, right? So that just gives you an idea. If you want to do something um, that's not available, you can use the word my, you can use the word the. You can do things like that. That may make it. I guess you could do nowadays, you could add a pronoun like his in front or something like that. But you can do whatever you want, as long as it's available, right? Now, in terms of, so once you get your thing available, then you add it to your cart, and the system will walk you through all the necessary things that you need. So let's say we're going to do his travel blog that travel, since .com is not available. Well, his travelblog.com is available, so we can actually take that one and we can add it to the cart, right? Now, they're going to try to upsell you to all these other different business services. SSL is secure certificate. Typically, your hosting provider will provide the SSL, which is secure certificate. That's so you can type HTTPS instead of HTTP. I don't know why it's 2024, everything should be secure anyway. So I don't know why they still make you pay extra for that. But the Namecheap also provides web hosting, but I don't recommend it. You should, your web hosting should be separate from your domain name. Reason being, if for some reason your domain name provider goes down, at least you still have your hosting. Or if your hosting goes down, you still have your domain name. You just don't want to put all your eggs in one basket. So I use Namecheap for every time I have an idea of a blog, I use Namecheap and I stick the name in Namecheap and just hold it for a year or whatever until because I have some blogs that I haven't used, but they're out there. And so you can do that, right? So once you do that, then you're going to go to your checkout. And like I said, they're going to try to upsell you and sell you. The domain privacy will come with it, domain registration. Um, I have this dumb little program that's always trying to give me codes, which it doesn't have any anyway. And so there's a whole bunch of stuff you need to buy. You don't have to buy any of these. All you need to do is just pay for the domain service. You could do something. You pay for that. You could do more than a year if you want. So you could go for 3 years. It'll just tell you how much it is. Sometimes they have a special, I guess 25% off. There's lots of codes and stuff online. So here's a promo code that came up, and you can use a promo code, and it gives you some kind of discount off of it. There's a domain privacy, I said. That's usually free forever. And what that does is that stop people from like searching for your domain and finding your information and then calling you or emailing you and all that kind of stuff. Um, and see, they offer web hosting. Now, web hosting, and I'll talk about that in a sec, is they're always going to give you a cheap rate for the first year. But then after that, it goes to the regular pricing. So what you really want to do is when you go to get the domain hosting, you need to look at exactly how much they're trying to charge you. There is business email, which is this is new with them, but with like SiteGround, you get that as a part. So you can have, Kerwin at what's the domain we're trying to do at histravelblog.com. So you can do that. Business, you can set up a business email. So there's a lot of different stuff you need, but as I said, you don't need to get all that from Namecheap. All you need to get from Namecheap is the domain name. Okay, so let's say you're done with your domain name. Now you need to host. Now the host is the company that's gonna be to you for want of using a word that describes the service, they're going to be hosting your website. So typically, this is where your website is going to live. This is a company that has all your data, all your customers' data. So you need to make sure that they're a good, reputable company. I've been using SiteGround for a very long time. I used to use a local company here in Houston, but when they got taken over by another company many years ago, they became an awful company. Their customer service was terrible. I once got more traffic than I could manage at one point, and they shut the website down because I was exceeding my quotas. And then so I lost all that juice from people coming to the website. What SiteGround will do in a case like that is they will notify you, they will handle the traffic, and then they give you options. So you can decide, do I want to upgrade or do I not want to upgrade? Chances are you want to upgrade or change your service. Let me just go over to SiteGround and show you what I'm talking about. So in the world of hosting services, there are different packages. There is something called shared hosting, which is you can think of it as living in a dorm room, or a hostel. So you go in and there's like a 10-person hostel, and there are 10 people sharing the facilities in that hostel. Uh, and so which means you're sharing the bathrooms, you're sharing the space in the room, and so you get a part of it. So you get 1/10 of whatever is in that room. Um, your capacity is limited to whatever that 1/10 of that room is, because that's what you're paying for. As your website gets larger, you're going to need non-shared hosting. Um, so this is where you are the only person in that 10-person room. You can think of it as getting a single room in a hostel, in essence. So it's your room, you have everything, you got your own bathroom, you don't share anything with anyone, but you pay more. But when you pay more, everything is housed in one place, and it's a much better service. I get quite a bit of traffic, and so I don't have shared services. I pay for and it costs more, but I'm happy with it. I don't have to worry about anything. SiteGround is quite good. They do backups. So if your site goes down, and I've had to use it many times because every now and again you get viruses. And when you get a virus, it kills the partitions and the site starts acting weird. But usually you have a backup, so you can go back to the point where you didn't have the virus, and you lose everything from the time you got the virus back to the time you did the restore, is what it's called. You can do the restore yourself, or they can do the restore for you. Um, One of the things with these companies is that with any company you use, even outside of this space, is you always need to ensure that you have um, good customer service. So with SiteGround, you can chat or you can call them. Now they've gotten a much bigger than when I started now, so now it's a little difficult to find the helps thing, and it's really it's I wouldn't say it's awful, but it's not as good as it used to be. But I could always talk to a person. If I need to pick up the phone, I can call them or I can chat with them. They're very good. I think they're based in, might be Romania, but they all speak English. And it's very, I mean, the service is extremely good. And that's why I still keep them. So, see, they say $2.99 a month. This is for the first year. And this is for like I'll click and go further. Okay. WordPress hosting. And so, and we'll talk about WordPress in a sec. So they do $2.99 a month. This is for the first year only. It's going to go up to the regular price, which is probably going to be, as you can see, it's going to be 17.99. And then you got Grow Big and Go Geek. When you're doing your website, you should plan ahead. So you can do startup if you want, but eventually you're going to need, and this is the chat that comes on because they think I want to buy, so they want to bug me. Let's see if I can get rid of it. Yes. Um, you can go geek because for the first year it's only $7.99 and you get a lot more features. You get 40 gig of web space, you get 400,000 visits per month. Um, so if your website happened to go really bonkers in the first year, you don't have to worry about it, right? While down here it's only 10,000. So if your website goes start to get really, really good, then you're gonna have to upgrade your plan. Pretty much. But they allow you to do that quite easily. So you can look through here and you can see what you get. Remember I talked about SSL? Well, they give you a free SSL. So this is why you don't need to buy the SSL from the from Namecheap. Now they're also giving you a free domain, right? So which means that you can tell them what domain you want, or you can transfer a domain to them. But it's only good, the free is only good for a year. But remember I said don't put your eggs in one basket. Get your domains from Namecheap and then get your hosting from SiteGround because that's what SiteGround does really, really well. I talked about the daily backups. There's something called CDN, which is it's a service that allows people to always access your website. So it's a whole bunch of stuff in the simplest form of it, trying to explain what a CDN is. Um, I mean, it tells you, in order to speed up delivery of a page, it caches its content on multiple servers across the globe and serves it to the visitor from these areas. So basically, your site is always active because it's being, if I'm in Houston, I'll probably get a server that's within the United States. But if I'm in Amsterdam, I'll get a server that's in Europe because it's easier and quicker. So that's what CDN does in the background. They'll do the backup for you. There's something called caching. This just gets into the weeds. Now we haven't talked about WordPress yet, but that's going to be the next thing. So they say you pick the plan you want, and I suggest do not skimp on your hosting. This is like saying, I'm going to build a house, but I'm going to put it on stilts and I'm going to build it in the ocean, hoping that if it rains, the water won't come and take it away. Don't do that. Get a proper foundation for your website and get a company that's been done. And there's lots of these companies. So what you can do if you don't want to use SiteGround, because I mean, some of you are just starting, but some already have services out there. Look at what your current person is providing. Look at what SiteGround is providing. Look at the cost. SiteGround might be a little more, but you may be getting extra features. So don't skimp. I know you're just starting out and you probably don't have enough money to get, but you need to get things done properly. Um, okay, so WordPress. Um, WordPress is the most common platform that's used in blogging. The thing with WordPress is you have complete control, literally complete control. And you can do, there are services like, I think there's services called Wix, and there's a few other services out there, many other services out there actually, that they will just do your website for you. You still have to pay whatever hosting or you pay like, let's say you pay $45 a month. And but they take care of everything. And that includes giving you a front end, giving you something easy to use, and allowing you to upload your content. With WordPress, you can do all that yourself, and it's not very difficult, right? So if you want to learn WordPress, you go to a site like WP Beginner. WP Beginner is really good. It's run by a friend of mine called Syed. Uh, and this is Syed here. It's run by Syed, and he's really good. I met this guy when he only owned WP Beginner. Now he is like a WordPress mogul. Um, he owns a lot of these plugin websites, a very business savvy guy. And when you meet him, he is uh, very good spirit, and you would never know that he's a guy behind all this. But really good. The why I really suggest you go here is this site explains everything. Like you have any WordPress question, and also this is a good site that shows you how affiliate marketing works. We're going to talk about affiliate marketing eventually. Um, but this site really tells you how affiliate marketing works and how to make it, um, how to actually make money from that. Because what he does, he will do a post and he'll talk about, oh, 10 best plugins for doing something. And because his company owns a lot of these plugins, it's a link to buy from that company. So he promotes his own products in the blog. There's also a YouTube channel. I think it's a WP Beginner, it's also called as well. And he has a lot of videos on there. But if you have any questions about WordPress, this is a place to go. You can also hire someone to do the WordPress stuff where you get the site set up and put all that, but you still need to learn how to use it because you're going to have to be posting. Now, yes, this is a website I have called airplanefoods.com, and this is posted on WordPress. And this is just me here. I have a bunch of websites, and this is just one of them. And this is me trying to promote airplane foods. I don't even know how this website is doing. I haven't looked at it in a while. But you can look at the back end. This is what WordPress looks like in the back end. And it's actually telling me, oh, I got 23 page views. People are staying on the site an average of 2 seconds, or a total of 19 users. This site is not doing so well. But it's one of my play sites. I need to add more content to it. I'm very passionate about aviation, so I'm always trying to put a lot of information out there. So with WordPress, you do posts and pages. When you go to post, we can go to all posts, and I'll show you what this backend looks like. And if you're familiar with WordPress, then you can just skip this part. But if you're not, stick around. So this is your post here. When you come into here, you want to put something in, you would go to edit. And I'm using the classical editor. There are at least 3 different types of editors in WordPress. And you would just go into here and you type your title, and then you type whatever you need in here. I actually need to put this title should actually be up here. And then I can do something called H1 heading. And this is just setting up the website for optimization. We call search engine optimization, which is something we're going to talk about. And then once you're done, you can just save this, and you hit, it's still in draft, so I'll just hit save draft. And when I'm finished, I hit the publish button when I'm ready to go. Now, you can look at pages, which is the other part of WordPress. And like there's a page that has about me, and I'm going to view it from here so you can see what it looks like. And this is a page that I have here. And the about page, just so you know, has is one of the most visited pages to your website next to the home page. And it's because people are always curious about who is it that's putting this information out. So make sure your home page, your about page has information about you. And if you have a blog, a newsletter, is a great place to put the newsletter link. I don't have a newsletter for this blog, so there isn't anything here. But and you can also put your social media handles and things here. But people do come to this page because they do want to learn about who's the person behind the website. So go look at your stats for that. I'll talk about I just remembered I didn't put it on the list, but I'll talk about Google Analytics in a sec as well. So if we go back and we can go edit page from here, other things that you need on your website are what's called, I think that's the next item. Theme. in WordPress, what you're looking at here is what is called a theme. So the theme is the pretty thing. It's a thing that makes your website look pretty. So when I go to here and I say visit site, this is the theme that I'm using to make the website look nice. Um, every website needs a theme, and we can go here and we can see the theme. There are a lot of them. There are probably millions of themes out there, and you just pick one. You pick the one that you like. A very common one is called ASTRA, and some are complicated, some are very easy, but you need something. That's just how WordPress works. The other thing that you need, and you pick one. And once you pick it, you can actually buy themes. Astra is the one that this one is using. You can buy themes and you can just change them. 20, every time WordPress comes out with every year they come out with a new theme. So there's 2022, 2023, and there's also 2024. And you can use these. And when you activate them, your current website will take that form on. If you've made any changes, programmatic changes to the website with one theme and you switch to another, it's not going to look the same. You're going to have to go back and make those programmatic changes. So be cognizant of that. When we talk about plugins, that's the other piece. Plugins are the things that make the website work. So, as an example, Classic Editor is what you just saw me look at there. That's how you edit the website. When WordPress was first started, but the Classic Editor is the thing. I still use it. They now have something called Gutenberg, which I don't like. It's just buggy and I don't understand it, but it supposedly help you better with making the website look snazzy. But I like the classic editor. If you know how to code HTML, you can actually code your entire website yourself. I'll show you how to do that in a sec. If a plugin needs to be updated, you'll see it here. You can click here and say update now. It'll update it, and then it'll come back with a check mark when it's done. Sometimes these plugins don't work properly and your website will fail. And that's when it gets interesting because now you have to call either your tech guy to do it or you have to do it, or you can call your hosting company and they will kind of help you up to a certain point, or they'll charge you to do whatever else they need to do. I have a bunch of plugin here because I use a gallery in this program and it needs updating. So I haven't been in here in a while, so it needs updated. RankMath is an SEO program I use. There are tons of them out there. I like how RankMath works. There is the pro version and there's a regular version. I'm going to update. And RankMath is search engine optimization is something you do need to do, although Google is a little weird with search engine optimization these days. But what it does, it allows people to find your website. And so it's called ranking for keywords and things like that. We'll talk about SEO in another sitting, but it's the tool that allows you to, it helps you to say, hey, this is the page you have. If you're trying to rank for a particular keyword, these are the things you need to do to make sure you rank for the keyword. And then it tells you, based on what you've done, how much, how good have you done? It gives you a percentage. And I'll show you what that looks like in just a sec. So we can update another template. And then when you do the updates, I try to only update one at a time because if the program crashes, I will know that, oh, it's the last one I just updated that caused it. Whereas if you update them all at once, you won't know that. I didn't update the RankMath Pro because first you have to update which we did. And if you refresh, then it'll give you a chance to update the Pro. And so it tells you there's a new version of RankMath. And if I say update now, you'll be able to update the Pro. And now you're good to go. Now I told you I was going to go show you post and what RankMath looks like. You might have seen it when we went through the thing. So let's go back to this one. We're going to use a classic editor. So if you look through here, At the bottom is where you tell it here which keyword you want to rank for. So I can say I want to rank for kids meal and hit enter. There we go. And then it's going to tell me like focus keyword does not appear in the SEO title. So I scroll and it gave me a score, right? It said my score for now is 32 out of a 100. Then I'm going to go back up to here and I'm going to say kids meal, right? But it's because I have kids is meal. Um, so now when I come back down here, uh, it's still not the same because I have kids. So what I want to do is put um, Grammarly is a pain in the royal sometime. It just sits in the way. It's like get out of the way, get out of the way, get out of the way. It's really annoying. It's like okay, so oh my goodness, I'm gonna turn off Grammarly on here. Jeez, because it's really very annoying. Okay, so once I do that. So now I have kids' meals. But I think when I go here, oh, it did say it's okay. It came back and it said, hooray, you're using focus keyword in SEO title. And so once you go through, and if I go in the description here and put the keyword in there, then this will become green. And so you can go through here and you check. Sometimes you won't get complete 100, but the score has changed. Now I'm 67 out of 100. And so I was 32 before. You do things like tagging, so you can put the kids' meals here. Um, but when you go through and there's categories and things like that, when you go through WordPress and learn how to use, and you have to, if you're going to be doing travel blogging, you need to learn WordPress. Um, and just the basics of like coming in, setting up a blog, I mean, setting up a blog post and learn the difference between a page, and it's not very difficult. I mean, it's actually quite simple because it is like a word editor, the normal editor to use. Okay, so we talked about WP Forms and Analytics. Um, when you install Monster Insight is one of the program that my friend Syed owns from WP Beginner. Um, it will come in here and give you this. You can set it up, you can pay for it, or you can use a slightly downgraded version. It'll still give you some statistics, but you also have to go to Google, which I didn't put that page in, but you go to google.com/analytics and you can look at your analytics for Google. I won't go into here, but you can set up the analytics in Google. If you don't know how to set up the analytics, Google has some really good videos, and there's videos on YouTube that tells you how to set up your analytics for your page. Why do you need your analytics? Because in monetization, when you go to somebody that says, "Hey, I have a website. I'd like to work with you on the campaign that you're doing. My website gets 10,000 visitors a day, 10,000 visitors a month. How are you going to know that? The Google Analytics will tell you that. Now, there are other tools out there like Clicky that will talk about analytics, but Google Analytics is the one that a lot of people use. It's free because Google gets all the data, but it's actually quite, I wouldn't say easy to use, but it's okay. But when you set up Mantra Insight, it asks you what's your Google Analytics number for the website, signs into your account, grabs that number, and pulls it back. And so whenever you come into here and you're trying to look at your numbers, you will see the analytics will come up and it'll tell you how many page views you got. I think when I came to the dashboard, I think it was actually showing me, right? Uh, I forgot the page that I was on. And it did actually show me like how many people were on how many people, oh, here it is. It's refreshing the report here. and see it'll show you how many people came to the website. So like on this the September 29th, this site doesn't get a lot of traffic, but I had a spike on the 27th. I had 4 people. Woohoo! And it tells me, 19 session, 23 page views, 2 seconds, and about what the bounce rate and all like this. I'm probably going to do a thing on Google Analytics that will just give you an idea. It also tells you the page that people visits the most, and so you can tell your so like the homepage is the page that people visit the most usually, and it tells you what countries most people come from the United States. But here you'll have a list of countries if there are other countries that are in there, and so this is really useful for you to make sure that you can tell the person you're trying to work with how much traffic comes to your website, where they come from, and who they are. Uh, okay. Now, if you want to make money on your website, you need to be able to collect money, right? There are two payment services that's worthwhile. It's PayPal and Stripe. PayPal you probably know about. Stripe probably not so much. When I started in the website business, we used to have merchant accounts. Those services are still out there, but back in the day, you had to pay a lot of money to get these services installed and set up, and it was like pulling teeth. Nowadays, you just go online and you apply. Now, I say it's easier because they do a lot of checks because they don't want any money laundering. And so when you go to the PayPal and Stripe to set up your services, you remember the EIN numbers that I spoke about? You're going to need those, or you need a social security number, or some other type of number depending on where you're living. We'll talk about shopping carts in a sec, but let's go look at payment services. So I have PayPal here. What you should do is set up a PayPal business account because again, you are running a business, right? So you need to go in here and set up a PayPal business account. So when you go to paypal.com, you're doing the business side of things. And what you do, you go sign up and you answer all the questions that they're gonna be asking you. And so you go through here and you fill out the form, your name, first name, last name, email address of the business, and set up a password. And just answer the questions through here. They do a lot of verification. You do need a US address. It's just it's there's a bank that you're setting up. So you do need a US address to set this up. The other thing I didn't put on the screen was you need to have a bank account. And for you to have a bank account, you need to have a US address and follow whatever the protocols that they have. Now you could set up a bank account outside the country. That's fine. You could do that too. But you need to have some type of bank account somewhere so you can put the money in that because PayPal, it sits in PayPal. Yes, you can get a PayPal card and you can spend it through that. And you can use a PayPal debit card and use it just like you use a credit card. And you can also use that. However, you do need some type of bank account. Stripe, it's the same thing. When you go to Stripe, you set up the account in Stripe and you just go in and you create the account and Stripe asks you the same type of questions that PayPal will do because they're financial institutions. With Stripe, though, you need to attach it to a bank account and so you can send the money. So what Stripe will do is, and it's very cool when you see money coming into your account because whatever you're monetizing, you will set up the service with Stripe. And when somebody comes, they can use a check. Yes, people still use checks. They can use their credit cards or things like that. When you set Stripe up, it asks you what you want to collect. The other cool thing with Stripe is you can get a little thing. It's like a little, mm, probably looks like something like this. And then that's my hard drive. Um, when you use Stripe, you tap it and you get the money. So if you're on the run and you're selling, and you're selling t-shirts or something, you can just get people to swipe their card in your little card reader, and you get the money right into your Stripe account. And then every so often, Stripe will send the money into your bank account. So you need a bank account and you need PayPal and Stripe. You can use either or both. Just depends on which one works better. They're both financial institution and they're both quite reputable. Yes, you're gonna have to pay fees, But as a business, you decide if you charge somebody $10, PayPal is going to get a percentage, Stripe is going to get a percentage depending on who you use. And so you need to price your things accordingly so that you're still making money despite paying the fees. Don't sit there and go, oh my God, I have to pay the fees. Yes, you have to pay the fees. That's just how it works. And no sense in griping about the whole thing. So I actually need to add bank accounts in there. All right. Establishing a social media presence. Uh, a lot of effort is concentrated on social media. And the reason for that is because the brands are always going to be asking you, how many followers do you have? What is your reach? Let me see how your previous posts have been doing. And on the Instagram, the Facebooks, the LinkedIn, Pinterest, TikTok, Twitter, and YouTube, you have the capability to show that because you already have built-in statistics to take care of all that. Don't be on every platform because you cannot be on every platform. If you're the only person working your business, it's difficult for you to be on every platform. So pick one. Pick the one where you think your audience is active and work on that one. Once you've established yourself on that one and it's going good and people know who you are, then you can possibly branch out with another one. It is you're gonna hear people say, hey, so if you create a video on Instagram, why don't you just post it on TikTok? Or if you post a video on Instagram, why don't you just post it I'm sorry, on TikTok, why don't you put it on Instagram, vice versa? And why don't you just put it on YouTube? Well, you can do all that. However, though, the effort is you still have to do an effort. Now, there's software I think that can send them to different ones, but and you can do scheduling and all that kind of good stuff, but it's a lot of work. What you should do though, if you want, is to hold the name of your businesses on each of these social media platforms. So when you're ready, your name would already be held. So that's one way to do it. A lot of my users are on Facebook. They're not that much on Instagram, but I do have Instagram. But I've been doing this for a long time. LinkedIn is the business side of things. So you should establish yourself on set up a profile with your business on LinkedIn. And because this is a place where if you want to reach a brand, what you want to do with that brand is phone's disrupting me. What you want to do with that brand is court them on LinkedIn. Find out what they're doing, see like let's say they have a campaign going and you think that you can help in that campaign, you can end up contacting them. So you can contact these brands on LinkedIn if they need to. Pinterest is another social media. Pinterest is getting a lot of traction these days because Google did a lot of weird things with their content updates, which is what you'll hear people talk about all the time. And this is why you can't depend on just one source of traffic. Lots of people just depend on Google to bring them traffic through search engine optimization, which we talked about a little bit. Now Google decides, well, we're going to do an update and we don't think that your site is very good, so we're not going to bring you any traffic. And people's livelihood have been changed as a result. So now they're thinking of different ways of getting traffic, and Pinterest is one way. Pinterest is predominantly females. And so if your audience is predominantly female, then you might want to look at Pinterest. We talked about TikTok, which is just a video service. Instagram has actually copied a lot of the TikTok features, and there's YouTube. And these are the big ones. There's a ton of others out there. It took me a little while to get. I've had a YouTube channel since like 2007 or something like that. I didn't really do a lot with it. It's over the last 2 years that I really started to do a lot with YouTube. And so you can monetize all these channels. YouTube has a monetization, and I forgot Twitter. There's also Twitter. But find the one that works for you. Find the one where the people you're trying to reach is located, and that's the one that you should do. So if you want to do brand deals, and you know that brand deals require X Instagram, and that's what they're looking for, then you want to establish yourself on Instagram. But you also want to establish yourself on LinkedIn so you can see the brands that are sitting on LinkedIn, because on LinkedIn, that is where you have all the professional people. And people be extremely professional. You find out exactly what their companies are doing, what they're doing, because they'll talk about it a lot on LinkedIn. But focus on one before you decide to expand. I'll probably do another video on just social media, but this one is just kind of, getting you set up. Online communities, this is the way to go, because you can set up a community, you can pay people to be a part of the community. Now, there are a lot of people who actually use Facebook as paid communities, and I think it's actually against the terms of service, but don't quote me on that. Go look at it yourself. The good thing with Facebook is that there's a ton of people already on Facebook. The bad thing about it on Facebook is you can't really monetize it. You can, but it's really difficult to do the monetization. So you can do a Facebook page, you can do a Facebook group, and you have all these people in the group, but you can't really, I think they had a service where you could actually charge for the Facebook groups, but I don't think everybody has that turned on. I don't think it's doing as good as Facebook, expects it to. But there are other platforms that you can get that will take care of it. There's something called Circle.so, and let's look at Circle. I think that was the next one. Oh, I jumped ahead. I'm sorry, I jumped ahead. Let me go back a little bit. Oh, I really did jump ahead. I didn't talk about shopping carts. And I noticed because I just got over to the shopping cart section, I really did jump ahead. So what's a shopping cart? An electronic shopping cart, you use it every day, you just don't even realize it. When you buy an airline ticket, that goes into a shopping cart. When you buy a train ticket, it goes into a shopping cart. When you buy groceries, it goes into a shopping cart. When you buy food, from Uber Eats or whatever, it goes into a shopping cart. Everything sits in a shopping cart. Now, there are a few companies out there that do shopping carts. Why do you need a shopping cart? Because if you're selling something, you need to set up the page so somebody can come and you describe the item. You say what it does, why it's a good fit for the person who's trying to buy it, and then you tell them how much it is and you collect their money. In order for you to collect their money, you need a shopping cart. In order for you to collect their money on the back end, you need the shopping cart. And guess what? You need a Stripe account or a PayPal account, because these shopping carts are tied into those financial systems. So everything is connected. Samcart is one of them. There's also a Thrive Cart, and there is WooCommerce. WooCommerce is built into, you can build that into WordPress that you can use. I don't know why the site won't come up, but that's what WooCommerce is. So these are the shopping carts. So now that I've gotten back on track, I can go back and talk about the platforms. So we can go to Circle. So Circle.io is one of the platforms where you can set up a community. Now, I think they may have there's a video. It really shows you kind of what the platform looks like. It is about $99 a month. So whatever you charge, you need to make sure that you're going to make at least that $99 back. So whether, if you decide that, my community is going to cost $33 a month, then you got to sell at least 3 people per month to make it pay for itself. It's really good in here. You can do a lot of things. You can teach classes. I'm going to set up one of these communities as well. I haven't done it yet, but you can do all that. Now, this is not the only community that's out there. There is also Nas.io, which is set up by the guy who runs Nas Daily. And this one actually I think it uses WhatsApp. You can also set up a WhatsApp community. It's a WhatsApp group or something, and you charge people to use that WhatsApp group. So it can be just as simple as that. There is also something called Pencil. Pencil looks a lot like Circle, but it's the same functionality. If you look, you'll see that it looks very much like Circle. Then you can do Skool, which is a very similar community, and so the idea behind these is that these are communities that you're setting up outside of Facebook. And so let's say you are someone who does wine and you want to set up a wine community. You can set up a wine community in any of these and you charge people. So let's say you charge people $27 a month, and every month you talk about a different bottle of wine, or if you go to a vineyard, you can give them a behind the scenes tour of the vineyard. You can take them on a wine tasting. So you can say, hey, next month we're going to be tasting this bottle of wine. And then you can join a wine club, or you can set up a wine club. And so they will buy the bottle from the wine club. It'll get delivered to them. But note that wine delivers in the US, they don't go to every state. It's really interesting when you look at that. So bear that in mind. But you can tell them where to go buy it in their area. And and if it's something they can buy on Amazon, you can send them an Amazon link, and that would be your commissionable link. So there's lots of different ways that you can do that. And just having a community is good. And talking to your community members at least once a month is really good. So like I said, you're going to create a paid community for discussion and support. Email marketing. This is the holy grail. And it's the holy grail that not many people use, which I don't understand. But there's a lot of people that, I go, do you have an email marketing? No. Why not? I don't have the time. But you have the time to post stuff on social media that's not working, just because everybody else is on social. When you do email, if you notice, a lot of businesses send you emails every day. And the first thing, when you go to these websites, if you're buying stuff, they're like, oh, let me send you a coupon. Give me your email address. You give them your email address, and they send you emails like every day because they want you to buy stuff, right? And so there's a reason why you, as a travel blogger, should be collecting people's emails. Um, I have two recommended tools that I use. There are tons of tools out there. The first one is the one I used to use something called Aweber, but Aweber wasn't moving as fast as I needed them to, so I went to ConvertKit. Now, ConvertKit is now called Kit, which everyone hates this name because now we don't know what it is. It was ConvertKit and it worked fine, but they decided to change it. Now they have different plans. There's there's a free plan which doesn't give you all the functionality you need, although you can get up to 10,000 subscribers, but it doesn't give you all the functionality that you need. And you can do $25. This will change based on how many subscribers you have. Or you can do Creator Pro, $50 a month. Now, all it does is it gives you different features at the end. Um, what you need to think about is make sure that you can do something called a sequence, which means that you can set up a series of emails and you can send them based on something that the user does. ConvertKit allow you to do that. Make sure you can do advertising. ConvertKit now has advertising they didn't before. And advertising means that in the emails, you can set up an ad in the email, which is really good. It's a way of monetizing your list. Beehive does that, and this is the Beehive pricing. Um, the thing about Beehive is they will they will show you throughout the month how much money you've made from let's say you're paying $99. They will tell you, oh, you've made $50 off your $99 that you paid us. And their goal is to try to get you as many ads or as many they call them boost, which is just more ads. So you can make the money back that you're paying them per month. So that's a really good way, and they give you a way to see that. So MailChimp is another one. MailChimp, I don't think I have ads just yet. Um, do not, my recommendation is not to pick an email service based on how much it costs. Look for the functionality that you're going to need. Free is good, but free is bad. Because when you get it, like, okay, so let's say you go to MailChimp and it's free, right? But then you get to 2,000 people. It's not going to be free anymore, but now they don't have the functionality that you want. So now you're going to have to take those members and transfer them to another service, and you're going to have to learn how to use that new service. Not saying that's a bad thing, but it's just something that you have to think about when when you do email marketing. So look for a service. I mean, I went to ConvertKit. They annoyed me a little bit um, because of how they do their pricing. And then they didn't have ads, and I wanted ads, and so I switched. Now I still have a ConvertKit account. Um, Pay like, I don't know, $15 a month for it, because I want to do something else with it I haven't figured out yet. So I still have that, but I now use Beehive because Beehive is so much better and it does exactly what I want. Now I'll have links to all these in the notes so you can get it. You can take a look at them. There's MailerLite, which is also another one. But again, do not use the service because of pricing. Do it because it has a functionality that you need. SendFox is another one. The cool thing about SendFox is that you can just like, it's $49 a month and you're done. But your limit is 5,000. You can send unlimited emails per month, but your maximum people on your email list can only be 5,000. Not a bad thing. 5,000 people is good for $50. That's not bad. But it's just you just get different functionality based on what you pay for. So if you just have a small little list and you just want to keep in touch with people, SendFox is actually quite good. Um, all right, so let's go back. All right, so let's recap the items and thank you for staying with me so long. Don't forget to subscribe and set notifications up. And so whenever, because I'm going to be doing, my goal is to try to do a video a day, which is really going to be tough, but I'm going to try to get you these videos out. So first, register your business, establish a website, set up your system to collect payments, because the whole thing about this is you're going to be trying to make money, right? Establish your social media presence. If something isn't working, just get like my Instagram now is a pain. I'm probably at the same number of visitors I've had, or what, I don't know what visitors, same number of subscribers I've had for like a year, and it hasn't changed. And so now I'm just like, you know what? I'm over Instagram. So all I'm doing now, I'm concentrating on YouTube. YouTube is my thing. And I've all been using my newsletter, and I always do my newsletter. I make the time to do my newsletter. Establish an online community. I already have an online community, but it's not a paid online community. And so I'm thinking how to serve the community. Now, I do have another paid online community, but it's a membership, which is what the online community is, but it's on WordPress. And I use Wishlist Member, which is a different program to take care of that. It's not built into WordPress. It's a separate program that you pay extra for. There's a monthly cost and there's also a one-time cost. I have the one-time cost that I paid a long time ago. And so I use that to run the membership. So when somebody comes into the website, they sign in and they pay the money and it sends them a link and they sign in. You can also use WordPress to do that. WordPress has its own management like that. So what you would do is you'd get someone to pay you money, and when they pay you, then you send them a link and say, this is your link to sign in. This is your link to go sign up for WordPress. They sign up, you set it up so that they're a subscriber, and every time they go to the website, they can do that. You can also set it up so that they can only see specific pages. Same thing for newsletters. When you do, there's like Substack, and there is me, me, Medium. And you can set these up, and there's paid version in Beehive. You can also set up the newsletter so that there are paid parts of the newsletter. And so that's another way to monetize. So you don't only monetize from, a lot of people monetize from brand deals, right? But that's not the only way to monetize your website. And that's what I'm going to be teaching you throughout this website, how to monetize your blog. And there's lots of different ways that you can do it. You just need to choose a few, because you shouldn't just have one way. You shouldn't just have SEO, because when SEO goes away, what do, right? Now, all the folks who had all these SEO coming in, or Google took it away, they should have been collecting email addresses, right? Because now if they're collecting email addresses, they can email the people and say, hey, you can still come back to my website because the information is here. but I don't think a lot of them had the email addresses. And so now they're kind of scrambling to do that. And that was the last piece, set up email marketing. Let's see. So again, if you're ready to monetize, subscribe for more tips, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notification. Notification is really important because whenever I update something, it'll say, hey, the blog has the YouTube channel has updated something, come back. And please share with your fellow travel bloggers if you find this information useful, and leave me a comment. Let me know if you want to learn about something else. Some of these videos are going to be very long, just so you know, because I want to go into detail. And you can pause them, you can come back later. They'll have chapters. YouTube sets up chapters so you can see what chapters are in. It's going to set up a chapter for this one, so you'll see how that works. Um, but my goal is to help you. And so I can only help you if you tell me what you need. I have an idea what you need. And of course, I'm going to create content based on that, but I need you to tell me what you need so I can do a better job with that. And I think that's it. Thank you for watching. Thanks for your time. And follow for more insights on travel blogging and monetization. This is Kerwin with Travel Blogger 101. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and tell a friend. Talk to you soon.